This is Civic Nationalist 1776 coming to you live concerning a new topic that's come up just recently, like within the last 12 hours. Justice Stephen Breyer to retire from Supreme Court, paving way for the Biden appointment. This is big, ladies and gentlemen, concerning the fact this new justice is retiring. He hasn't died from his position. Now, as you know, the Supreme Court justices are lifetime appointments, meaning they either will only lose that position either if they die, resign, or are forced out by either Congress or by public opinion concerning them to force them to retire. Now, this is big for a few reasons. Number one, it'll give Biden an appointment to give him a chance to actually get a justice into the Supreme Court. Just like Trump did with 3, Biden will get at least 1 in his term. That being said, he is going to most likely appoint an affirmative action type of justice into the position. You know the types. By race, by sexuality, the gist. Problem is that this person is not going to probably be qualified to actually do the stuff that any regular justice would do. They're only going to be looking through an ideological lens, meaning that they'll look through their own politics without actually looking through the case and everything. Heck, they're not going to probably look through the Constitution at all. That being said, this doesn't change the composition much, considering the fact that there's still going to be 6 relatively leaning conservative judges and 3 relatively liberal judges, but this will change the composition of the liberal side. Breyer was known as a center-left justice. He's one of the few that actually pushed back on expanding the Supreme Court, and for good reason. It's blatant politicking, and he knew it would backfire in the end at some point in the future because, the pendulum always swings. The thing is, he's retired. Now the question is, why? He's still alive. He still relatively has his mind intact. I'm willing to bet he didn't do this out of, just because he wanted to leave his position. I'm guessing he just did this because he knew what was going to happen in the midterms, like some other political YouTubers are expecting. Stick being one, Tim Pool being another. They're expecting a big backlash against the far left, and Biden's appointment will determine whether or not this backlash will expand. It's not going to detract. It's going to expand the backlash against him. Why? Well, several reasons. He is locked between a rock and a hard place. He has to nominate an actual far leftist to actually gain back any of the far left that he had lost in the past 6 to 8 months in office because of all of his relative failures. That being said, more and more center-left people, relatively sane left people, are finding his failures abhorrent for various reasons. High inflation, things having to do with the current pandemic, economy going to shit. It's not a big surprise. And the thing is, at some point, things have got to give. So he's hoping and banking on this being an out for him. Problem is, it's not. It's just going to be a blip on the radar. It's only going to get a few woke leftists into compliance, and most of the center left that will see this will see it as a pandering to the far left, which they absolutely despise. They know this is not going to end well. So what Sticks, and I agree with him, is saying is that this could backfire on him. Could backfire on him easily. And the thing is, this could push any center right-leaning judge in that bench on the Supreme Court to actually decide what the conservatives on all things, because now they have 3 relatively left or there's going to be 3 relatively far left-leaning justices on the bench. So why should they actually acquiesce to the liberal side when they're always going to be dissenting on things that they agree with? It's gonna be a blatantly partisan Supreme Court, one we haven't seen in our history. This could backfire on the United States, or it could be a godsend, deadlocking any bad thing happening from going forward, especially since it's still a conservative-leaning Supreme Court. Now, all this depends on the future midterms. Within the next 8 to 10 months, this could actually shift barely, depending on how good the Republicans' gains are. If it's moderate gains, it'll still be good, but not in the sense of them having a red tsunami, red wave, whatever you want to call it. If they take that back to Senate and they take back the House, and Biden doesn't get his nomination, which I really, really doubt, because remember, the filibuster for judicial nominees was done away with. And that's how Trump got his 3 Supreme Court justices. It backfired on Democrats extremely bad. Well, the thing is, if at least one Democrat does not actually approve of any Supreme Court justice, they could deadlock this and wait until the midterms to actually happen, and Biden will lose another Supreme Court justice and lose out on everything else. If he's really unlucky, any Republican that gets into office will be able to create a supermajority in the Supreme Court, which is most likely why most of the Democrats will just, go in lockstep instead of actually asking the smart questions. Who's qualified to be in the Supreme Court? Who isn't? Why? Is it because they have experience? Is it because they don't have any experience? It's not going to be any of those questions. They're just going to go lockstep, and they're going to actually approve it because they will have no choice in the matter. Because if they don't, it'll piss off the liberal base. It doesn't the relatively far left liberal base, anything far left of center left, and they can't have it. They don't want any more discord in their party. That being said, in all honesty, all this changes. It's basically throwing a bone to the far left. That's just about it. That's all it's going to be. And the thing is, it's not going to end well either way. Because this is just it's not going to change the makeup of the Supreme Court. And it's not going to change the minds of the Republicans that are in the Senate and the House. All this will do is show the explicit partisanship that is in Congress today. And it'll just make the Supreme Court an ideological split partisan court. That's all it's going to do. And Breyer was one of the few remaining Supreme Court justices that were using past cases instead of ideological mindset to push forward any cases and get them remedied. It remains to be seen exactly what may happen. We don't know the future. But I do know one thing. This is not going to do Biden any favors regardless. It may actually rile up his base, but it won't rile him up enough to actually push forward his agenda. It's just a blip on the radar that he's going to actually be able to throw a bone to the far left too, with any of his nominations. And I can guarantee that it's going to be eye pull in nature. But what are your thoughts? Comment and subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Civil Nationalism 1776 out.